Steve, Mark Medina, Bay Area News Group. How's Kevon's progress coming along?
Kevon's going to give it a go tonight. So further evaluation, a second opinion, and then a lot of research and making sure that there's no long-term risk involved with him playing. And it all checked out, and he's dying to play, and so we'll give him a shot, and we'll see what he's got.
Given the injury, how did he get to this point?
The guy's just tough. He's tough, and he wants to play, and you know, the injury is in an area where it allows him to move well enough to give it a shot to play.
Again in the front.
John Dickinson, 95.7 The Game. Steve, do you know if Kevon will need to take some kind of pain-killing shot, or if that's something on the table? Either way.
I don't believe so. I'm not very good at these medical updates, in case you couldn't tell. So I think I'm going to change course here, and I'll answer what I can. But I'm not good at it. So I'll tell you what I can, and if I can't tell you anything good, I'm just going to say, let's move on.
Mark, back left.
Mark Berman, New York Post. Yeah, just regarding Kevin, though, did he do any scrimmaging today? Is he planning to do any scrimmaging tomorrow or Sunday? What's the latest on Kevin and his
He's
progress?
not playing tonight. We're hoping he could play game 5 or 6. And everything in between, I've decided I'm not sharing because it's just gone haywire. There's so much going on, and so it doesn't make sense to continue to, talk about it. He's either going to play or he's not. So tonight he's not playing.
Next question towards the center.
Coach, will Klay's minutes be just determined on how the game goes and how he's feeling?
Yes.
Next question in the fourth row over here.
Getting better, Raymond.
Hi, Steve. Ryan Leong with Associated Press Broadcast. Second to last game at Oracle for certain. I know you've been asked this question before, but as you get down to the last 2 games, is it kind of, were you kind of thinking about knowing that this will be the final 2 games here, or what's your mindset about that?
The mindset is let's make sure there's 2 more games here.
Cameron Buford, LA News Observer. Hey, Coach Kerr here in the back. What's your strategy to combat their size and length that seemed to really impact the game a couple nights ago?
Play harder, play better defense. Our defense stunk the other night. We got to play better tonight.
Okay.
Janie.
Hi, Steve. Janie McCauley from AP. I just heard from Al Adelson that he plans to attend tonight. What does that mean to you and just everybody here to have him back?
Well, we love Al. He's the face of the franchise. He's been so for 60 years, I think. So he's an incredible presence, and we're thrilled to have him back in the building. It's been a while since he's been at Oracle, so we're excited to have him here.
Steve on the far right.
Steve Ashburn on NBA.com. In these days of injuries and load management and group decisions, are you comfortable with Looney's ability to play or not really coming down to his pain threshold, and that being sort of how fans will look at this?
I'm comfortable with the fact that the training staff is comfortable with him giving it a shot.
Next question, back left.
Hi, Steve. Kelsey, ABC 7 Sports. Just wanted to know if you can clarify that the 3:30 court closure, is that for KD or Kevon to get any work in?
No.
Monty on the right.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Steve, you mentioned the bad defense you guys played in Game 3, but how often do you see a team like this in terms of having 5 shooters on the floor at almost all times, and what does that do with the way they can stretch your defense?
We actually see it a lot. In the modern NBA, you see plenty of teams who put 5 shooters on the floor. So it's nothing foreign. Bottom line is we're playing a hell of a team. They're doing a great job, and they're up 2-1. And we need to bounce back and play better defense and play harder. And I thought we played really hard the other night, but our defense had a lot of holes in it. So we've got to combine the effort with the execution tonight at the defensive end, and that's the plan.
Any other questions for Coach?
Thank you.
Okay, Coach. We'll have a brief announcement here in a few minutes.
Basketball Writers Association, I wanted to honor Raymond Ritter and his PR staff with the Brian McIntyre Media Relations Award, which is given to the staff that exemplifies professionalism and excellence in this business. Raymond and his staff go above and beyond to help us out. They understand the journalistic mission and understanding the service that we provide to readers, listeners, and viewers. And so, Raymond, this is the fifth time that your staff has won. You guys have won 4 in a row. It's a little bit of a dynasty here. The only other team to interrupt their run of 5 awards in 6 seasons as the Toronto Raptors. So it's another reminder to PR staffs out there that if you're good to us, the chance of playing in the NBA Finals is really, really high. So once again, Raymond and your staff, congratulations. And now we'll open it up to questions for Raymond.
Yeah, you should. Probably do both. And then we'll do one with just you guys. Hey, Bill. All right. Congratulations. We'll now have Jeff moderate the next press conference. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Ray. Perfect. Thank you, Joe. First question, this side, in the back, in the middle.
And Nick, obviously Steph got his in Game 3, but what did you like about the way Fred was able to defend him in the second half, that you kept him in there, and how much do you anticipate matching their minutes again tonight?
Well, I think Josh, that the overall defense, what they shoot percentage-wise and how we rebound the ball percentage-wise is really all we're concerned about on a team level. And that was going okay. I thought, one of the things our guys did a lot better, I thought, was shot contest. Everybody, when I don't know, example, Jerebko's open, we ran out hard and contested him, or Iguodala was open, we ran out and challenged, and that was, our team defense is, get it set up, put some pressure on the ball. If there's a problem, help each other, and then make sure we contest a shot. Anybody get out there and fly at it to try to make a miss, and I was more pleased with that as an overall team effort than anything.
Tim on the far right.
Hey, Nick, Tim Reynolds with the AP. Whether it's the finals or a game in October, when the other team, when the opponent is this person in the rotation, how much is Klay going to play? Kevon Looney probably is going to give it a go tonight on some level. How much does that affect you at all, or are you, no matter the stakes, are you just more focused on your rotation and what you're going to do?
I just couple things. When you grow up coaching in the minor leagues or other leagues like this, especially the minor leagues, you don't know who's playing until about an hour before every game, sometimes 10 minutes before. So you get used to just not really letting that hit your radar very much. I always say, sometimes when you're playing really, really, really good teams, they only get to put 5 guys out there, just like we do. Deep teams, they only put 5 out at a time or whatever. Five guys are going to be out there, and we'll have to make adjustments on the fly, but you do that every game, right? When the ball goes up, things start happening, and you start changing matchups and changing who's guarding who and what coverages you're in, depending on how the game's flowing. I just, again, we need to put in a great effort here ourselves. We know which our guys are going to be out there, and those guys that hit the floor need to put in a great effort. And if they do that, then they'll put themselves in a, give ourselves a chance to win.
Tim, standing on the back left.
Nick, there's obviously, go back to Fred for a second. There's been a lot of talk about obviously him having a kid during the conference finals, and up until then he was struggling a lot with his shot. It's obviously changed since then. Is there something to be said for a guy like that who's in a bit of a slump, having a chance to kind of clear his mind and kind of get himself, turned around?
Yeah, maybe, Tim. I think that more than anything, though, we always use the term just keep playing, right? I think each game things can change dramatically just because, I don't know, somebody gets 29 in game 1 of a series doesn't mean they're going to average 29 for the series. You may not see that again, or just because a guy goes 1 for 8 or 0 for 7 or something doesn't mean he's not going to make his next one or have a good, 4 out of 6 game the next night. And I think that's all you can do. And I think that's what he did. I think he started playing good after a 1 for 12 game. And I remember I didn't even know he was 1 for 12. I think, Josh, you kept telling me about it after the game. And 1 for 11. I didn't even know it because that was the game Kyle fouled out with 6 to go that went to double overtime. And I thought he played so great. I was in there singing his praises in the press conference, and somebody said, well, he was 1 for 11. I said, no, I didn't know, because he was running the team and playing hard and making plays. And I think just keep playing. Some nights the ball's going in, some night it isn't, but impact the game in any way you can, not just with your shooting or scoring.
Again, in the back left.
Martinzi Johnson, the undefeated. I've been speaking with assistant coach Patrick Mutombo. He said you bought about 3 of his art pieces. One, how unique is it to have a assistant coach who's an artist? And 2, what is it like having him as an assistant coach?
Yeah, he's really talented. It's really cool. I think he's really talented as a artist in a number of painting, sculptor, everything. I've been to one of his shows, and he had a lot on display. So it's really interesting. And he made a great painting for me that's hanging in my office that was kind of kicked off our preseason. I really like it. It'll hang there for a long time, I hope. But more than that, he's a good basketball guy. He's played around the world. I've actually coached against him in the minors, and he played in Belgium where I coached as well. He's a thoughtful person and gives us a lot of help with what he does, both player development and with coaching.
Davide, fourth row on your right.
Coach, Davide Chinellato, Gazzetta dello Sport Italy. How much satisfied are you with the level your team is playing, and how much do you think you can get better to, complete and win the championship?
Well, most of the time I'm pretty happy with our effort. I think if the games that we come and play really hard, you come out of the game and you say, man, the Raptors played hard tonight, then that's always a great starting point. And when we do that, our defense is usually pretty good. And then I always think that jump starts our offense as well. That was a big factor in the game the other night. We held them to a pretty low percentage. We were out in transition a lot. But we continue to improve. It's a mindful group. We've learned a lot in the last 2 months. And hopefully we just keep on getting a little bit better, tweaking a little bit more, learning each other a little bit more, finding a little more ways we can play harder and give effort together, fight through adversity a little more together, as long as we need to.
Dan, towards the back.
Nick, Dan Weinke with the Los Angeles Times. Kind of along those lines, how important do you think the collective basketball IQ of this team has been in terms of handling things like load management and different lineups and stuff like that? And how good has this team been with adjustments as the playoffs go along because of their smarts?
Yeah, I mean it is a really smart team, right? There's a lot of veteran guys that are high IQ players. There's a lot of defensive intelligence there. There's a lot of accolades among those guys. All defensive team, defensive players of the year, and that helps. I mean that helps when you're trying to make adjustments in the game. You throw something at them maybe they've never seen before, and they go out and do it pretty well because they've been around the block, and they also trust each other. That's important. It makes my job a lot easier, I'll tell you that.
Eric, towards the center.
Eric Corrine, The Athletic. How long had you been looking at the idea of starting Fred with the other starters just because, 1 through 4, you guys had been stable since basically November when everybody had been available? And more broadly, you spoke at the beginning of the playoffs about trying to make adjustments and changes while you're doing well and while you're doing poorly. But, in real time, when the results are going decently, how much tougher is it to actually make, a big change like that one?
Well, I thought about it a little bit throughout the year, Eric. I think just just gives us a different look, and the look. We played Kyle and Fred together a lot, and it gives us kind of a double push. 2 guys that can push it up the floor, 2 guys that can take it off the bounce, 2 guys that can run the team. And mostly it helps Kyle get off the ball and get up the floor, and Fred can, get us into stuff. So we've thought about that. That was the primary reason we did it, was for an offensive pace boost. And it was a little tricky the other night. I kind of went in there with my mind made up we were going to do that going into the game, and Danny had it going pretty good there in the first half and almost screwed it up for me a little bit. But he took it great. He came right back in and knocked a couple more in and I thought he played great defensively the other night, Danny, that is, and we'll see if we do it tonight. But to answer the last part of your question, it's a tricky thing. I think in the playoffs, you have to make adjustments even when you're winning. You have to fix things and change matchups and rotations and all those things because I don't know. I just feel that you have to. If you don't, then you're going to be making them after a loss if you don't.
Last 2 questions in the middle and in the back right.
Nick, Ryan Leong with Associated Press Broadcast. who really has the pressure on them tonight? I mean, certainly the Warriors are in a situation where they want to even up the series again, but you guys can really kind of push them to the brink with a win tonight.
That's probably up for you guys to decide. Again, whether we're up 2-1 or down 2-1, we've been in other series, or down 2-0, or blah blah blah. We haven't really talked about the score of the series at all through the entire playoffs. We've tried to just isolate every game. We know they're all critical, right? I mean, they're all critical, and it changes. I guess all I know is you need to win 4, and you can't win 4 until you win 3. I think, is my math's good there, yeah. Take them one at a time.
Last question, back right.
Hey, Coach, Cameron Buford here, LA News Observer here in the back. You guys have won, since leaving Milwaukee, you guys have won 5 of your previous 6 games. What's been the switch? Did you flip the proverbial switch, or what's been the change in mindset in the team chemistry about the run you guys are currently on?
I don't think there's been a switch that's been flipped or anything. I thought we flipped a switch about Game 2 against Orlando. We played really poorly in Game 1 to open the playoffs, and then from then on we've played a lot better defense, a lot harder, with a lot more connection. And I think we're slowly getting better each time we step on the floor, even if we don't get the result. I think we went down 2-0 in Milwaukee, and I don't think our guys weren't happy, but they weren't really upset or bothered or worried. We kind of thought we won, 6 of the 8 quarters in Milwaukee and came out of there 0-2. But we didn't have anything to show for it, and we thought if we kept playing and fixed a couple things that we would have something to show for it. So just playing hard, man. That's the main thing for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
Enjoy the game.